Piper was so cute. It was all so beautiful and cute. And the animated short film is still my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And why can't we just have a film theatrical release of animated short films? They wouldn't make very much money. It was always come down to money. I don't know. Gosh. But everywhere from the Cab Calloway, beautifully, Minnie the Moocher and those different animated shorts from the 30s and 40s. I love those. To the crazy claymation shorts by Will Vinton. And, is it Will Vinton that did the... Sorry, I'm doing this off the cuff, but the claymation short where the two molds are loving and they intertwine and they become a new mold, and out comes a baby mold, and it lives for a little while, but then the two molds come together in like anarchy, and they fight, and then the baby mold, but I love animated shorts. Every single animated short compilation that comes out, I want to see it. I have to see it. It makes me laugh and sob and do everything the heart wants to do when it wants to be entertained. I love the animated short film. And Poppy, Pippi, Perry, what's its name? Did I see Pippi? Perry? I wrote notes, but it was in the dark. So, that one. Piper! It was called Piper! So Piper is so wonderful. And of course it only has one lesson. But that's why you can fill up 5 to 7 minutes with one lesson, is if you're a very well-trained, dense storyteller. And I know in the first non-spoiler review, I use the word dense a little bit, and this is what I mean. Basically, Piper is a story about the little birds that you see on the beach that peck at the mussels in the sand. They peck them out, and when the water comes in, they all run away. And those little birds, the runaway birds. And when I was a kid, I used to call them the runaway birds. And now that I'm an adult, I kind of chase after them and say, "What are you? What are you? What are you?" Anyway, so, yes, those little runaway birds, what are you? They have thought, they have a psychology, they have a life, and basically the lesson is jump in. Jump in. Jump in, see what the water's like, because when it washes over you, when your biggest fear washes over you, you can see everything. You can see possibility in your realization of your biggest fear. Or you can just see a little bird trying to get a couple of bites of dinner and happen to find himself in a wave and see where all the little mussels can be found. Either way, that's what's great about being dense. You can put whatever thought you want into it. And that's what I love about Piper. Do I have to mention the animation? No. Voice acting? No. Credits? Minuscule. Because they're made with people who have a love for what they're trying to say. I love the short film, short animated film. I don't care. They always seem to know what they're doing, and they don't seem to be confined by a time limit. Keep doing it. They're always going to be the best. Piper was great. And if anyone's saying that the short films just don't make money and da-da-da, well, guess what? If I knew that something like Piper was going to be in the theater, I would pay a couple of bucks to see a 5-minute short. Yes, I'd pay a couple of bucks to see a really well-animated short film in the theater. Well, if you have more, which if this trend catches on, then you could have another collection of short films in the theater. And I would pay money for it, to see it. Independent theaters do it all the time. independent theaters show short films all the time in a series of whatever theme they want to go for. So do that. Anyway, now Finding Dory, spoiler review. She does find her family. And I have to admit, every step along the way, if I had paid close attention to where they were trying to tell the media and news where they were going with this, because they did clue it in. They did, and now I know where it was going. The whole thing about Blackfish, that was the documentary that was released a few years ago, and I did see that in theaters, and it is about the habitat where killer whales are kept in SeaWorld and other venues around the world. It's about sea life just being in captivity. And I had heard reports about people saying that Finding Dory had been rewritten and rewritten and rewritten because they were going to include moments of captivity. And I didn't really see any statements in this film. There are no clear statements of how Disney feels about captivity. And now that I remember all that people went through after Blackfish came out, and was Disney really going to go there with Finding Dory? Now I get it. And no, they do not go there with Finding Dory. They cannot afford to go there with Finding Dory. The whales in this movie are entirely too okay with the condition that they are in, and I know that there's no other way to get out of it. I know that if you're born into captivity, maybe there's a psychology or a line of thinking where it just doesn't hit you. You've always been there, but it doesn't excuse. There's only one thing that excuses it. That it's the first. This is the first animated film that we have addressing these issues, and it won't be the last. As long as we are still seeing any kind of life not benefiting from our services and rather dying from them, we will see people doing what they can to be active to end it. And the thing about Blackfish, and specifically the thing about Blackfish, no one's saying end aquariums. We have to get kids to first learn and see about this kind of life in the world. We have to get them accustomed to how great and vast it is, and we have to give them samples to be more sympathetic with. It just can't be in a movie, so you just go out and buy it at the store. You do have to show examples of endangered species. You do have to show examples of species that are sometimes dangerous and sometimes vulnerable. That's what I love about Zootopia. We get an example of almost every animal. And I don't think it ends with anyone saying, I want to get a rabbit, name it Judy. I don't really think that happened. There are probably a few kids, but I don't think that was an epidemic. If you play it safe, like you do with Finding Dory or Nemo, you might. And they unfortunately do play it kind of safe. Very safe. I do love the constant references to Sigourney Weaver. It's almost like that she's Sigourney Weaver's voiceover for the Marine Life Institute, because that's where Dory's family was, which is amazing. This is why I say it falls into the first movie brilliantly. It explains why Dory can read. It explains why Dory knows so much about aquatic life and above surface life. I'm going back to Little Mermaid terminology there, and say surface life. She knows those things because she's heard it over and over again. And her captivity being a baby fish in her aquarium with her family. And through the same pipes that she got lost in the undertow, her family followed her, got lost themselves, and used the same follow the gingerbread back home technique. It wasn't it was a gingerbread house they were led to, but with bread they were led. And birds pluck that shit. So in this story it's much better because it's seashells. And she does find them. And in my opinion, the moments in this, here we go. The moments in Finding Dory, in my opinion, are better than Finding Nemo. But as a movie, Finding Nemo is so much better than Finding Dory. Maybe because I've already seen Finding Nemo. Maybe because I've seen a ton of Finding Nemo since Finding Nemo. But Finding Dory as a story is not new. The execution is not new. But there are moments in it. Just Keep Swimming is a beautiful moment. And of course, there's an explanation for it. The explanation for Just Keep Swimming is so well done. And the moment where you think that Dory's parents are dead is such a well animated, represented, directed bit of what happens when you're given such devastating news that you're trying to digest it. Those moments are beautiful. Finding Dory is absolutely brilliant in those moments, but it's nothing new. I will say one thing though. There's one character, and there are two characters in this movie. They're the same character, but my God, they're so funny. Gerald and Katie, the bird that like flies the fish to where they need to go for the plot convenience. My God, Becky, her name was Becky. Becky, oh my God, Becky's hilarious, but Gerald is funnier. Gerald is. Oh my God, can someone please cosplay as Gerald and those other two sea lions? Those three sea lions rock the whole movie. Oh my God, it's fantastic. I absolutely love that. Other than that, this movie was good. It cut and pasted those wonderful moments, and Disney and Pixar do them so well. But I have to say, Zootopia, still my #1 animated film of the year. I would love to. I'm going to see Kung Fu Panda 3 as soon as I can, because I hear that's very well done. But Finding Dory, it's a solid movie. Go see it. It is well. I still sound like I'm dogging it, but I'm not. It is good. Very good. Go see it. Give it money. Keep making movies like this. But you won't get anything terribly new out of it. If you do, please leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. Tell me if I need to get a Patreon. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Lee in the Lights, and I'll see you next time.